Hello YouTube and Facebook land. So it's been a few days since I've done a video. It's actually kind of a rough point for me right now because I'm very stomach sick. I actually got sent home really early from work today. I've only worked a couple of hours because I'm literally having that much of an issue with my stomach. Unfortunately, a good 70% of the crew where I work is afflicted with the same thing. So apparently they figured they would go ahead and send me home as opposed to me getting other people sick. And this is why I am here now doing a video a little bit later. The girlfriend's asleep. I have a chance to do this. We'll go over just a couple things. Some of the more of the detailed reasons why I do certain things in pan fishing. So, one of the things that I have in my pack at all times, my bigger pack, is one of these Plano boxes that's waterproof. It has a surround in it. And this is one that, it's wide enough to hold a lot of stuff, but if I have those cargo shorts, like the camo ones, I'll keep a foldable net in one pocket, and I'll keep this on the other side. And I usually keep the net on the right side because I'm right-handed. So if I'm on the go and I don't have my whole pack with me, I can take my artificials in this box. And I actually got one for my girlfriend too, but this is the surround that's in there. So it effectively makes it waterproof. There's a little bit of a gap in these... really hard to see from this angle, so I apologize. But you can see how there's kind of a shelf down here, and then it kind of raises up. So if you have smaller stuff, it can be a problem sometimes. I haven't really encountered too bad, but I wanted to go more in detail about a couple specific things. So I got to grab them out of here first. The one small thing, bad thing about small packs like this is manipulation of products that are inside of them. And sometimes you gotta really be forceful about it. So, if I can get them all to align. These are size 2 bait holder stinger hooks. Stinger is an important distinction to make. If you ask for a stinger type of pack, you will get these type. They have a certain type of a curve on the end of the poker, and the reverse tine is a little bit longer than normal. They call it a stinger because once it goes in, it's like a stinger on a bee. It goes in really easily because it's very thin and very sharp. It has kind of a stinger profile too on the front of the hook. It's almost like a blade. This is a 10-pack from Eagle Claw. Now, I really typically don't use Eagle Claw. I don't like their pre-made snell knots and stuff. I like to make my own knots. But it was like $2 at Walmart, and I haven't re-upped my hook and weight orders on eBay lately. So, the reason I like stinger type hooks, and I'm going to take one off here to show you what I'm talking about. So, the reason that I like these stingers, these bait holders, is because they have a certain amount of curve to them. You can see it from both sides. There's a curve. See how it turns out a little bit? And they have that back curve. So what this does for me, with the type of rig that I use a slip bobber with a number 5 split shot above my swivel, and then a main leader line to the hook, jig. Sometimes it's from that to the swivel to a spin shot hook that's got a full 360 motion, and then a weight at the bottom. It really depends on the situation. A lot of times now, since I use a lot of live bait, I've been using the stingers more. And the reason I like them like this is because of the fact that I can do a really good snell knot with that back hinge. It literally will come straight through and hook up. And if you make 8 to 10 loops before you pull it back through itself and cinch it, it'll butt up right to here. But this curve, when you hook set, it turns the hook. And when you have that turn combined with that turn, that curve that it has, it's very deadly in getting a hook set without a lot of effort. So that is why I like stinger hooks. If I'm using bigger live bait, like I'm going for catfish, Mustad has demon circle hooks, all the way from size 1 to like, I think they go up to 10-aught. I get up to 7-aught heavy duties for river catfishing. But I typically use the number ones for, like, if I'm using smaller baby gills and whatnot, because they're not that much bigger than those type of hooks. And it serves to do a pretty good purpose. Now, I've already gone through how I, like, cut certain shad baits down and I mold them with a lighter, so I'm not going to go over that again. My main case for this was to say why I use these type of hooks. That is really the case for that point. And if I have minnows, or I have a piece of Kool-Aid infused hot dog, or I have a superworm, it works really, really well. And I've gotten some big panfish like that. So I'm not afraid to use animal products or live bait. I cast net all the time. I have a 5-gallon bucket. I don't have a bubbler yet. They're like $5 at Walmart. I just haven't gotten around to it. But trust me, diligence in honing your own way of doing things will help you. Most people do a slip bobber a certain way, where they have that big glass bead and they have one of those fabric pull nuts. I don't mess with that. I mess with these rubber ones like this, which still go through all the guides, but they are automatically tensioned on the line, and they don't burn the line when you slide them like fabric does. I have a tendency to use spin shots because I love the way that they rotate. And the kind of swivels they use are these smaller number 8 to number 10, just the regular barrel swivels. I don't use the ball bearing ones for lighter work because it's just redundant and it's almost too strong. So what I'll do is I'll do that stop knot, and I'll put my slip bobber, which is an everlasting slip bobber that I order online from HLG Outdoors. I typically use a size 6 because it encompasses any of the panfishing I'm doing. If I'm doing really super light work with like these jigs I'm going to show you in a minute, then I'll go down to a number 1 or 2 and use just the jig for the weight. But when I'm getting a little bit heavier, then I've got that stop knot, that size 6 everlasting, and then the swivel like this, and then 2 pieces of line. One that goes to the top of the spin shot, and then one that goes below it for the weight. So there can be some esotericness involved. It can be as complex or as simple as you want. It doesn't lend itself that way. And I have all sorts of different sizes, which I've shown before, but for the purpose of this demonstration, this is one of the 1-aughts. It's number 1, it's a 1-aught. But the reason I use them is because the swivel that's in here is fairly small. It's not overbuilt. There's a lot of lateral and rotational play to it, which I want, because if I'm going to drop shot and do finesse, or if I'm going to put live bait, I want as much movement in the hook as I can. The spin shots were the first ones to come out with this, and they're still the best as far as I'm concerned. Now, VMC is a great brand for a lot of things. I know that the other companies have them. I've used a couple of the different companies, like these ones, for instance, are a different brand. They're not the VMC spin shots, but for this size of a hook, the hook design is a little bit different. It works really good for like perch, smallmouth, and that, but the swivel part of it's really, really weak. So you got to be really delicate about how you hook set with these type. And I think those were from Gamakatsu, if I'm not mistaken. But there's a couple that have really heavy actual ball bearing swivels, and they're just too big for me for the size hook. I just don't like it. That's personal preference on my part. I like to downsize tackle for panfish as opposed to upsizing, except for my slip bobber. That's one portion of it that I will do bigger because I want to see it. I have shitty eyes. I want to see it way out. I want to be able to put more heavier jigs or all the way through light and adjust the sink rate with split shots instead of the bait itself. So if I have a size 6, and he's supposed to come out with 7s and 8s at some point in time, but if I have a size 6, I can go up to almost a full ounce before it goes under the water. So if I'm going from 1/100th of an ounce all the way up to like 1/8, which is typically the range that I sit within, which has a lot of lateral play, by the way, it's a perfect size for me. If I go down to the ones I'm about to show you, I can go down to a 1 or a 2, even a 3, and be perfectly good because that weight will pull through that smaller bobber easily. So, now that I've gotten that out of the way, this is what I want to talk about. Bubba's Flies and Jigs, I've been seeing his work. He really does fantastic work. I'm going to buy from him. Probably a couple dozen of a couple different types of ice jigs because I like to use super worms, and on the back of those jigs, it's fantastic. Tungsten and glass bead type jigs, they work. And his work and what he does artistry-wise is phenomenal. So I will be attaining those soon. I got to get through this Christmas thing, but I'll probably order them sooner than that just to get them ordered. But for cost effectiveness, and I'm talking about when you're on a very tight budget, nothing beats Creme. CREME. They're based in Texas. They've been around forever. And one of the things I've gone back to, which I did in my really early youth with my dad with panfishing, is using the silver side minnow. Now I have a couple different colors. This is a green back, silver side. Okay, it is a minnow imitation head. It's already ready to go. They're like 1/32, 1/64 ounce, I think. They're really super light, So I have greens. I have blue backs. I have not got any black backs right now, but those are, the blue backs work really good at imitating like this really cool glass minnows. And then the last ones, which I think imitate baby bluegills really good, are the barred fish version, like that, with the fin on the back. The only issue I have with these is that the fin is very hard, which it's just like a live fish in that respect. So unless they're really aggressive, it's hard for them to get over this because they feel that it's that way and they'll stop at a certain point. So that aspect of it is kind of a hardship. But if you're going after light biting crappie, if you're going after really big pig bluegills, these things really can't be beat under a slip bobber. They just really truly can't. And I mean, a 2-pack, depending on which Walmart you go to, is anywhere from $1.19 to $1.69 for a 2-pack. I have 14, and I paid less than $10. I got a couple 2-packs before. I've got one set up for waxworms and mealworms now on my custom ultralight from Ron Weber. And by the way, if you're going to panfish, and I know there's other makers out there that make custom panfish rods, if you're in Arizona or you're willing to get something delicate shipped to you, and I mean delicate in the fact that shippers have a propensity toward beating shit around, I would consider it delicate just because they have a tendency to just throw shit in their truck and go. I would get a panfish rod from Ron Weber. Whether it's ice panfishing, whether it's super long rod panfishing, 4 foot, 6 foot, 8 foot, 10 foot, 12 foot, 16 foot, 24 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 foot 7, 9, you name what you want panfish wise, he's going to be able to make it for you. The one that I have now, I wanted a down lock because I wanted the hand grip to be more in the middle of the cork handle, and it's really long handle, by the way. But I wanted to be able to get that web grip that, real light biting you can do. It's worked well for me. I've never had a down locking handle before, and it's taken me getting used to, but it works really well, and it still bounces really well with the proper reel on it. Now, I had my Cast King Mellow 2 on it, but the drag on that thing is really not sensitive enough for panfishing, in my opinion. So I put my Dia Revros on it, and it's a 2000 size, so it's a little bit bigger than the 15 or 1000. But man, does it balance good. It balances phenomenally. So shout out to Bubba's Flies and Jigs and Ron Weber from Southwest Custom Rods. You guys are amazing in what you do. I've gotten so much use out of that rod. I mean, I truly have busted some huge panfish. Hell, I've even pulled in a 12-pound channel cat on that thing, and it's pulled it in. So kudos to the way that they're made. And these lures, so I will cut them down, I'll trim them, and I'll pretty much take the tail all the way down, or if I really want to kind of micro it, I'll take it almost all the way. In this format, I won't put a mealworm on. The hook is really, really small, so if they bite and they're intending to bite on the bait of your choice, they're gonna get the hook. These can be bent out a little bit. I kind of prefer to leave them standard. They're made that way for a reason. The material itself is it's durable, but it's chintzy. It's very cheap. It's apparent that it's made that way. It's pressed into position and it's heated, I believe, and sealed that way. So if you're looking for super high quality, these are not the ones to get. If you're looking for something you're going to throw in the water, and if you lose it, oh big FD, these are the ones to go with. And they look so close to a minnow that I've actually put them in the water next to a minnow, floating around it, just swimming around it, and it looked almost no different. So if you're going on a strictly artificial standpoint, and you're looking for a price point that works, creme lures, these are the ones to get. I'm sorry. Much respect for the people that hand make baits, but for $1.19 to $1.69 for a 2-pack of something that looks like this, with the eyes and everything, they catch fish. Phenomenally so. Especially this barred one, because it looks just like a baby bluegill. They really do. The bluebacks are more like a thread finny minnow looking thing. These greenback ones, they really look very close to a glass minnow, which is actually the freshwater versions of glass minnows are all over our Arizona ponds and lakes. So my recommendation to you: Custom Rods, Southwest Custom Rods, Ron Weber. Tell him what you want, what you don't want. He will make it happen. Bubba's Flies and Jigs. I have not bought from him yet, but I will be, because the quality on his work is outstanding and they are proven designs. When it comes to cheap jigs, don't get anything but these cream silver side minnows. They have their little minnows, the soft ones as well, which work really good on Persian smallmouth, by the way. Crappie even eat the shit out of them. But these are the kind that I put under a slip bobber. And it's a different type of fishing. You're going to need to have patience, but when they're on it, and they don't stop. And to have the appropriate equipment is very important. I know plenty of people that go all the way down to 2-pound line on an ultralight rod. I can't do that. I have to have 4-pound. I don't like to go up to 6 or 8 unless I'm going for bigger fish on a light rod. But I won't go down to 2-pound unless it's on an ice rod. And I haven't ice fished in like 20 years, so it's going to be a while before I do that again. I'm hoping to do that real soon. But ideal action is a fast tip with a big backbone and a parabolic bend. Ultralight 7 foot. I don't go further than 7 foot because it doesn't lend itself to being stored in a house very well, and I only do one-piece rods most of the time, unless it's for travel or convenience in a trunk, and my custom is a one-piece. All of my bass rods are one-pieces. I like the sensitivity difference, and that's just the way I go. I don't go above a 2,000 size for my ultralight work. I go up to a 2,500 to a 4,000 for my heavier work on a spin reel. I have a 2,500, what the hell is it called? A Fury? But it's from Penn. It's a great reel for that size. The gears are so damn strong on it. If I had a medium panfish rod, not a medium light, not a light, not an ultralight, but if I had a medium rod for bigger panfish, like walleye and such, which I still consider in the panfish category, by the way, because they can go all the way from small to big, I would do it in a heartbeat. But right now it's on my medium heavy Mastercraft, I think it's called, Mastercraft rods, that I got for like, I think $10, 10, $15, which has pulled in some really, really big catfish. I have 8 pound on that. But I digress. Creme lures, the silver side minnows, the color patterns match a lot of the natural forage. They're just realistic enough to work. They're dirt ass cheap. You can buy a fuck ton of them. If you go on eBay and you find them a sale on them, like I saw one seller had 48 of them for like $20. That's a lot for $20. But it was because he bought in such bulk that he had that. So, other than that, the other people that I've mentioned, you definitely want to try them out. I spent just over $200 for my custom rod. I gave a decent tip. I wanted to give more. But my rod for an ultralight as it sits, with the quality of the work that he does, is a $400 rod all day long. And it is beautiful, and it is functional. It's no frills, there's no shiny shit. It is pure function, and Ron is an artist when it comes to what he does, and he believes strongly in his work.